Hello there, very good afternoon and welcome to Lunchtime News on TV1 for the News First, where the people come first. I'm Martin Satyanesan. Let's start off with a look at your headlines for this afternoon.
Police seize 500 packets of incense powder mixed hemp from opposite a school in Kiribati, Bopitia. 125 police jeeps handed over to Sri Lanka police by India. No proposal has been received to increase electricity tariffs in January, says PUCSL chairman. Gazette issued appointing district returning officers and assistant returning officers for local government polls.
Now the stories in detail. Police seized 500 packets of incense powder mixed with hemp from opposite a school in Kiribati, Bopitia. Police said that the items were seized upon suspicion that these packets were to be sold to school children.
The 500 packs of hemp mixed incense powder was seized during a special raid conducted in Kiribati at about 6:30 this morning.
මේ දාලා පහ ගානේ තියෙන්නේ ඒකේ පහක් තියෙනවා පහක් තියෙන මේ පහ තමයි සීවර වෙන දෙන්න
The police located an individual with several packets of powder in his possession, and after further questioning, officers had found the entire stock of powder at a store. Police said a packet was sold for 100 rupees. 2 people have been arrested in connection to the incident.
125 police jeeps provided by India were handed over to the Sri Lanka police today during an event headed by Minister of Public Security Tiran Alus. The event that was held at the parking garage of the Suhuripaya building in Battaramulla saw the attendance of the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka, Gopal Bagle.
Thank you for your cooperation. Thank you very much.
The 125 jeeps are the first batch of a total of 500 jeeps due to be provided by India.
You can close the doors.
අද පොලිස් දෙපාර්තමේන්තුවට විශේෂ දවසක් එමුකෝ මේ නව ජීප් රථ
It is a special day for the police department because we received 125 jeeps from a total of 500 jeeps that are due. Not all police stations have a jeep. When the public require assistance of the police, they don't have a vehicle to travel. Yesterday, I met an officer in charge of police and he told me that even he travels in a 3-wheeler. However, some people claim it is not the right time to purchase vehicles when we make attempts to purchase vehicles. We require these for police stations. That is the reason why we got this done. This did not happen over the last 3 years. We are thankful to the Indian government, also the Indian High Commissioner to Sri Lanka. We both worked closely on this matter to make this a reality.
ඔහුත් මා සමග බොහොම කිට්ටුවෙන් වැඩ කරලා අපි මේ දේ කරගන්න අපිට ලැබුණා.
India's support to Sri Lanka, as you know, has been consistent. We are committed under our leadership's neighborhood first policy. Sri Lanka is our closest maritime neighbor. India is very happy to continue its support to the people of Sri Lanka. I'm very happy that today we have handed over to the police through the Honorable Minister the vehicles which will be used by the police for law and order, and this is part of India's commitment to support democracy, stability and economic recovery in Sri Lanka. We have stood with the people of Sri Lanka and we will continue to do so.
The prevailing concerns surrounding continuous power supply has given way to another major debate in the country. Chief among these concerns are the move to hike electricity tariffs from January purchasing coal for the Nurechole power plant and the dispute between the subject minister, the PUCSL and CEB Engineers Union. Chairman of the Public Utilities Commission, Janaka Ratnayaka, appearing on the Jatika Mehevara program on TV1 today, expressed the following views on the statement made by Minister of Power and Energy Kanchana Wijesekara on increasing electricity tariffs from January.
ගැලමුතේ සලකලා බලලා තමයි අගෝස්තු මාසයේ විදුලි බිල 75%කින් වැඩි කරේ.
The electricity tariff was increased 75% in August after considering all relevant factors. They requested for an increase of 250%, the same level they are asking now. If we had a reason to believe it was justifiable, we would have allowed it. The political sphere is also saying it is my personal opinion. It does not happen that way because it is a commission. When you look at September, October and November, there are profits, which means the allowed increase is legitimate and justified. The funds should be paid in advance for 31 vessels carrying coal that are scheduled to arrive in the country. Just because they need 39 billion rupees, they cannot burden the people. The people are paying the bill a month after their use. He mentioned that electricity tariffs will be revised in January and July. It cannot happen that way, and things cannot be done the way he wants or how I want. If there is a revision of electricity tariffs, we need to be informed of the recommendations. We have not received such recommendations as of 22nd of December. If he says it will happen, the Public Utility Commission of Sri Lanka still does not know how. How can a political authority that cannot control the price of an egg be trusted to decide tariffs of a large-scale industry?
බැරි දේශපාලන අධිකාරියකට පුළුවන්ද මේ වගේ ව්‍යාකූල ටැරිෆ් එකක් තීරණය කරන්න?
Meanwhile, a protest is being staged opposite the Nurechole power plant, opposing moves to increase the electricity tariffs. The protest was organized by the Ceylon Electricity Board's Joint Trade Union Alliance. The protesters also expressed displeasure over the moves to sell the Nurechole power plant.
මම හිතන්නේ දැනින් දිගින් දිගටම මේ ආණ්ඩුව මේ රටේ මිනිසුන්ගේ පොදු දේපල විකිණීමේ
The government has made it their hobby to sell off public assets. They are slowly implementing the conspiracy of selling off the country's resources, including the Nurechole power plant. We as the employees are coming together to oppose this decision by staging this protest opposite the Nurechole power plant.
නොරොච්චොලේ විදුලි බලාගාරය ඉදිරිපිටදී ක්‍රියාත්මක කිරීමට සූදානම් කරලා අපි සියලු කටයුතු සංවිධානය කරලා තියෙනවා.
Meanwhile, the president of the CEB General Workers Union accuses the Union of Electrical Engineers and the Minister of Power of misleading the people.
They're
instilling fear in the people by saying that there will be 10-hour power cuts. On the other hand, the Minister of Power and Energy says that there is no need to increase the electricity tariff. At first glance, it looks like they are on loggerheads, but the final result can be an attempt to create a power shortage and source power from private companies. The government, the CEB and the CEB engineers should try to conserve energy with minimum power cuts and minimum cost. They revised the Electricity Act to get renewable energy, but as of today, we don't see them being too keen on doing so. Former Minister Chandima Veerakodi also expressed his views on the energy crisis yesterday.
There are
consequences of ruling the country with a robber's mindset. If not, the ministry of a country has the ability to hold a review meeting once a week to discuss the local requirements and obstacles in the future. They don't hold this stock review meeting on purpose. When Ranil Wickremesinghe amended the electricity bill, he told us that if we support the Electricity Act, we can identify alternative energy without any problem, without increasing the electricity bill. But 1.5 months passed and the price was increased without giving giving any reason. After the tariffs were hiked, the people were told, since there's no increase was done in a while, that it had to be increased. People were told that no further revisions would be done after this. But now, out of the blues, without a prior warning, they are planning to hike the tariffs again aimlessly. There's no proper explanation to this decision either. The government is not appointed to act in this manner.
මේ ආකාරයට හිතන විදියට කටයුතු කරන්න නෙමෙයි රජයන් තියෙන්නේ.
The President's office says that the government has decided to establish an International Trade Office, ITO, to coordinate relevant institutions and synergize work to obtain maximum output from the external trade sector to the national economy. By next January, the ITO will resume negotiations of the 3 free trade agreements with India, China and Thailand. The chief negotiator and the National Trade Negotiations Committee, comprising subcommittees on specific areas, have been appointed by the Cabinet for this task. In coordination with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and other related institutions, the ITO will also address and resolve the implementation-related issues related to the existing trade agreements. In more local news, an extraordinary gazette notification appointing returning officers and assistant returning officers for the administrative district was issued. The gazette was issued in the exercise of the powers vested in the Election Commission by Section 4.1 of the Local Authorities Elections Ordinance.
The district secretary or government agents of each district will serve as the returning officer, while the assistant commissioner of elections will serve as the assistant returning officer. In the meantime, the Election Commission of Sri Lanka says several rounds of discussions will be held leading to the upcoming elections. Chairman of the Election Commission, Nimal Punchiheva, says today's discussions will be held with the district secretaries. Tomorrow, discussions will be held with the assistant commissioner of elections.
Prices of eggs skyrocketed in the recent past. However, consumers complain that eggs are still in short supply in many areas despite the high prices. Meanwhile, the egg producers of Tirapane Divisional Secretariat have been facing severe difficulties due to the shortage of eggs.
Poultry farmers in several areas of the Tirapane Divisional Secretariat, including Maitripura, Mavatavawa and Thairimaduwa, are facing severe difficulties due to shortage of eggs. The shortage has occurred owing to hens not laying eggs for around 2 months. Poultry farmers say this situation continues despite them following recommendations of veterinarians. The All Ceylon Egg Traders Association convened a press briefing yesterday. They emphasized that eggs can no longer be sold at current prices.
The demand and supply ratio for eggs is currently 4:1. There were 400 poultry farmers associated with the cooperative society in Dumalasuria. The number has drastically reduced to lower than 10 now. If not for small-scale poultry farmers, eggs would be priced at even 100 rupees. Archbishop of Colombo, His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit, says that it is not possible to celebrate Christmas amidst the current situation in the country. He made these remarks while attending a program held in Kalutara last night. The Birth of Hope Christmas Carols concert was held yesterday afternoon at Holy Cross College, Kalutara, under the auspices of His Eminence Malcolm Cardinal Ranjit. Scholarships were awarded to 10 children, while dry rations were also distributed at this event.
අද පුවත්පතක තිබුණා රෝමේ සංවිධානයක් ජාත්‍යන්තර එක්සත් ජාතීන්ගේ සංවිධානයක්.
I saw on the newspaper recently that a UN organization had said 6.1 million of Sri Lanka's population suffers from starvation without having a single meal a day. These are the results of the bad decisions made by the rulers of this country. As a country, we should be ashamed to go around the world begging for money. We are a beautifully blessed nation, yet we keep begging from other countries to fulfill our basic necessities like food. What is this principle? We cannot celebrate Christmas with fireworks, lights, decorations and fancies while the poverty level remains high in the country. What should we do during this Christmas? We should not celebrate this Christmas alone. Our responsibility is to share the joy of Christmas with the poverty-stricken families.
අපි යන්න ඕනේ ගව මඩුවට. ක්‍රිස්තුස් වහන්සේ සොයාගෙන යන්නට ඕනේ ගව මඩුවට. දුප්පතාගේ ගෙදරට අපි යන්න ඕනේ ක්‍රිස්තුස් වහන්සේව සොයාගෙන.
In the spirit of giving this Christmas, you can donate stationery items for school students battered by the economic crisis. You can donate books, coloring books, pencils, pastels, rulers and color pencils among other stationery items to the Sirasa Shakti Potyatra book donation drive.
The Sirasa Shakti Potyatra book donation drive will continue until the 24th of December, and you can donate exercise books, colouring books, pencils, pastels, rulers and colour pencils among others to the following collection points: Head Office of the Capital Maharaja Group in Colombo 2, the Panama Studio Complex, Stein Studios Ratmalana, Echelon Square in Colombo and Kandy City Centre. The stationery items that you donate will be delivered directly to the children during Christmas.
December 26th, the Monday, has been declared a special government holiday, says the Ministry of Public Administration and Home Affairs. This was announced by Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena during the District Secretaries' Conference today. In your weather update this afternoon, the low pressure area over southwest Bay of Bengal is likely to intensify into a depression during the next 2 days. It is likely to move northwestward towards the northeastern coast of Sri Lanka during the next few days. Wind speed will increase up to 55 to 65 kilometers per hour at times, and showers or thunder showers can be expected in central and southwest Bay of Bengal, eastern and northern sea areas of Sri Lanka. Naval and fishing communities are advised not to venture into the deep and shallow sea areas of the coast extending from Mannar to Pothwil via Kankasanture, Trincomalee and Batticaloa and central and southwest Bay of Bengal, Uva and north central provinces. Showers or thunder showers will occur at several places in elsewhere during the afternoon or in the night. Shifting your attention to international news, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky expressed gratitude for the United States in support of fighting Russia in an impassioned address to Congress during his first overseas trip since the war began.
Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are reacting to the historic wartime address from the Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky as the war against Russia continues. As Ukraine's most important ally, the US has already committed $50 billion of humanitarian, financial and security assistance, far more than any other country. Zelensky called for continued financial support from the US, telling the Congress, "Your money is not charity. It is an investment in the global security and democracy that we handle in the most responsible way." Zelensky urged members of Congress to strengthen sanctions against Russia and to let the terrorists be held responsible for aggression. The Russians use everything against Ukrainian cities such as Bakhmut, but Ukraine holds its lines and will never surrender, Zelensky said to roaring applause. Zelensky said Ukrainians will celebrate Christmas this year despite the atrocities of the war, telling Congress, even if there is no electricity, the light of our faith in ourselves will not be put out.
A new government, seen as the most right-wing in Israel's history, has been agreed, sealing Benjamin Netanyahu's return to power.
Netanyahu, who won elections in November, is set to serve a historic sixth term as prime minister. His coalition contains far-right parties, including one whose leader was once convicted of anti-Arab racism. Netanyahu's coalition partners reject the idea of a two-state solution to the Israel-Palestinian conflict, internationally backed formula for peace which envisages an independent Palestinian state on the West Bank alongside Israel, with Jerusalem as their shared capital.
From that, we bring to a close this edition of Lunchtime News on TV1. For details of the stories and much more, simply log on to our website www.newsfirst.lk. For the News First, where the people come first, I'm Martin Satyanesan. You take care and have a wonderful day.